Senator Obama, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today.
Thank you.
There's a great deal of concern about the economy, as you know. You've said you're going to cut taxes for 95% of Americans, but critics claim your plan will just increase government spending, allowing $500 income tax credits for most and actually sending checks to the bottom 40% of income earners who don't pay federal income tax at all. So I want you to clarify, if you can, how are those critics wrong and how are you going to pay for your middle-class tax cuts?
Well, they're completely wrong. And independent studies have looked at this consistently. So it's not critics. I mean, it's the McCain campaign who suggested that I'm wrong on this. And let's just look at the facts. I'm going to provide a tax cut for 95% of working Americans. If you make less than $250,000 a year, you will not see a dime's worth of tax increases on anything, not on capital gains, not on your payroll tax, nothing. If you make more than $250,000, then your tax rates are going to go back to what they were under Bill Clinton, still significantly lower than they have historically been. And the way we pay for the tax cut for middle-class families is to close corporate tax havens, close corporate loopholes, and this is the contrast between John McCain and myself. He wants to give a tax cut too, but he wants to provide a $200 billion tax cut to some of the wealthiest corporations, an additional $100 billion in tax cuts to high-income earners. So the average Fortune 500 CEO would get a $700,000 additional tax cut from John McCain. That's just not smart economics, because what we need right now is ordinary people to have more money in their pockets so they can pay for gas, go to the store, buy a computer for their kids. That's what's going to grow our economy.
Well, Senator McCain has said he wants a one-year spending pause on all discretionary spending programs except for the military and veterans. Do you plan to eliminate any of your proposed spending programs due to the economic distress, and if so, which ones?
Well, keep in mind, Senator McCain's not proposing a spending freeze on his plans. He's saying that he's going to provide a spending freeze on the entire federal government. Here's the problem. That's like using a hatchet to cut the budget instead of using a scalpel. What I want to do is go through every item in the federal budget, line by line, and those programs that don't work we'll eliminate. Those programs that do work will make work better so that they cost less. So I'll give you an example. Right now, in the federal budget, we provide $15 billion worth of subsidies to the insurance companies to promote a Medicare-type plan that is completely unnecessary. That $15 billion, we could go to my health care plan to make sure that every single American's getting health care, and we're also lowering premiums for middle-class families who are struggling with rising health care costs. So it's a matter of setting priorities. We're going to have to cut a whole bunch of stuff out of the federal budget, but we also have to make sure that we are investing in health care, energy, making our education system work, and making sure our kids can go to college.
On Monday, during an interview with Governor Sarah Palin here in Fort Myers, she told us your association with the unrepentant 60s radical Bill Ayers should have Americans questioning your judgment. I'd like to give you a chance to respond to her comment. What is your association with William Ayers? Is Governor Palin out of line here?
Governor Palin is just reading off the script that's been given her by the McCain campaign. They have said 2 or 3 days ago that they did not want to talk about the economy. Said if we talk about the economy, we lose. And so what they've done is to try to bring in some guilt by association. This is a guy, Bill Ayers, who is a professor, a college professor in Chicago, who I sat on a board for a time, on a school reform board that was funded by a major contributor and friend of Ronald Reagan's, with a bunch of business people and civic leaders. And they are now trying to suggest that somehow, because of what this guy did 40 years ago when I was 8 years old, that somehow I'm sympathetic to this stuff when I've completely condemned it. These kinds of distractions are not going to work. It's sad that this has become the centerpiece of their campaign. In Florida, if I'm not mistaken, the McCain campaign is not running a single positive ad telling you where they're going to take the country. It's all about trying to tear me down. And if you're spending all your time talking about somebody else, then that probably means you don't have much to say about the critical issues that we face in this country.
Time for just one more question. Social Security, really important to the people of Florida. The system is in trouble. In less than 3 years, the first baby boomers reach 65. You say it's fixable, but it's going to require courage. What do you mean when you say that?
Well, I think what we're going to have to do is to work in a bipartisan fashion, recognizing that if we don't do anything, benefits will be reduced. And seniors are already having a tough time. So what I think we should do is lift the cap on the payroll tax. That's not lifting the tax, but it's saying that for people who are like friends of mine, like my friend Warren Buffett, he can afford to have that payroll tax apply to more than just the first $100,000 of his income. Most people are paying 100%, are paying their payroll tax on 100% of what they earn, and the very wealthy are not. If we change that formula, that could fix the system.
Senator Barack Obama, thank you so much again for taking time to be with us today.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.